Being injured and in pain just absolutely sucks. It robs you of attention. It keeps you from doing the things you love and really can affect your quality of life. In this week's vlog, I wanted to dive in a little bit more about some very severe and, downright crippling pain I had a few weeks back, what I learned from it, how it messed with me, and how I got myself out of a really bad rut. What's up, everybody? I'm Dr. Maggio, creator of the Peak Method, and I'm on a mission to make chronic injuries obsolete by helping people that are injured and in pain get properly educated and informed on their injuries and quality access to hands-on soft tissue treatment so they don't have to end up in a bad path of pain pills, injections, and surgeries, which only make things worse. I'm back at it for my weekly vlog. This week I wanted to share something pretty deep and dark that happened to me about 45 days ago. Little background on me, I played football in college and blew my back out really bad to the point where they told me I wasn't going to be able to play anymore. I was able to rehab it, get better, get back on the field and be better. And that's what kind of got me into this whole field of like wanting to help and treat and, get people better. And that was my path. But now I'm 35, I'm going to be 36, and I'm paying for a lot of the damage that I did over the years. I have 4 or 5 blown out discs in my neck. I have 3 or 4 blown out discs in my back. And some days I wake up and I just feel like absolute shit. And I'm just like, this sucks. So about 45 days ago, I was really going along really well. I had my exercise on point. I had my diet on point. I was in the middle of doing like a 30-day reset. I was feeling really good, the best I ever have. I was doing a lot of exercising, a lot of good working out, getting treatment and everything like that. And then the deep problem came to the surface, which is my low back. My low back is a nemesis that is always there. It will get better from time to time, when I'm good about treatment, not doing too much in the weight room, not really being an idiot. But it started kind of creeping up on me and I started feeling it. And usually what happens is I get one of these episodes once a year where I'm pretty laid up for about a week. And when it happens, you just got to kind of deal with it and wait it out. And that sucks when it does happen, and it really can mess with your mind. I do a lot of reflection and training in the ancient art of Stoicism. I actually have it like written all over my arm, all through here. Stoicism basically is the idea that all you're in control of is your thoughts and your actions. And when I was going through this really bad episode, when my pain got really bad, for some reason in my daily reading, a quote from Marcus Aurelius, who was one of the best Stoic philosophers of all time, came up about pain. And the quote was, "Pain is neither unbearable nor unending, as long as you keep in mind its limits and don't magnify them in your imagination." So I saw this at a really bad point for me. So when my back got really bad, it was really tight. I got some treatment. I thought I felt better. I thought I was out of it. And then all of a sudden on a Sunday morning, I went to bend over and roll out of bed, and I felt this horrible shooting, stabbing pain in my back, and it felt like somebody just shot me. It was the most excruciating pain I've felt since I hurt my back, 15 years ago. And I had that moment where I'm just like, oh shit, what's going on? I started to panic. I started breathing heavy. I really started having a lot of problems, and I was like, here we go. And that first 24 hours, I'm going to be honest with you, I went to some really, really dark places. You start thinking about stuff when that pain gets in your mind and gets a grip of you. I couldn't do anything. Like I had to crawl to the bathroom. I couldn't do anything. Every time I took a step, it felt like somebody was shooting me. And it was this awful, excruciating pain that I just couldn't bear anymore. It was so bad. And then you get to those deep places where you start thinking about stuff, and you start thinking about the future, and you go, man, I'm only 35 with this. Like, how is this going to be when I'm 55, when I'm 65, or even 75? And one thing that I always say is that I'm not going to end up like my dad did. And I've shared the stories of my dad. My dad had a bunch of surgeries he didn't need, and he died of a pain pill overdose at the age of 58. And I'm never going to do that. I won't let that do that to me. But when that pain gets in there, when it's at its peak, it really fucks with you and puts you into some dark places. And I remember sitting there and I was like, I don't think I can do this. Like that day, I just couldn't do anything. I felt like a complete invalid and a cripple. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, I'm 35 years old. I used to be a high-end athlete. I used to play college football. Look at me now. I'm just not in a good place. And then you start doing, I talked about this on past videos, this idea of comparison syndrome. And you start thinking about who you used to be or where you're going, and it just starts to fuck with you. And luckily I fell upon that quote and I saw that, and it gave me a different perspective. But that first 24 hours was awful. I didn't sleep at all that night. As soon as I would move over in bed, I would just lock into a spasm, and I started crying because the pain was so bad. And it sucks when it gets to that point. And I just was like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get through this. I don't think I can do this. And the bad part was I just had an episode like this about 5 or 6 months ago. Usually I get some time in between. Now they're happening more often, and it really starts to mess with you and put you in a bad spot, and your mind starts to wander. So one thing, like that quote said, is like, pain is never going to be unbearable for so long, but it's always going to be there as well. And you have to like change your relationship with pain and what it is, and understand that, is it going to affect everything that you have? Or are you going to let your mind take control as well? I'm not one of those bullshit guru, like, oh, if you just think it away, it's going to go and be better on its own. No. But what are you doing to make that pain better? Are you eating right? Are you moving? Are you exercising? Are you getting treatment? Are you doing the right things? If you are, then you're making the right relationship with pain. If not, then don't sit there and bitch and complain that you're not getting any better. But when that pain hits you, it's going to fuck with your mind, and you have to allow yourself to go to that dark place for a little bit, but you got to snap yourself out of it really quick, because if you continue to sit there and just live in that misery and that pain, it's going to really fuck you up. And mine was bad for a long time. Those first 3 or 4 days were really bad. I was hobbling around for about 2 weeks, and it just continued to mess with me in a different place. This one threw me for a loop more than any other pain has before, and really just got me to pay attention to things and understand that, hey, you got to do the daily work each day, the boring shit. You got to make sure you drink water. You got to make sure you walk. You got to eat right. You got to get treatment. All the stuff that people don't want to do, but we know we need to do. Basically being a human. But go to those dark places when you get that pain. And I understand why people get like that, why they want to resort to pain pills, why they commit suicide, and they do stuff because they want to be away from the pain. But the pain is there for a reason. It's telling you something is wrong, and you have to listen to it. You do have to listen to it. You have to learn from your pain. And if you ignore it and you just do things to take it away and numb it out, you're losing your whole innate ability as a human to live and thrive. So yeah, pain sucks. It fucks with you on so many levels, but you have to change your relationship and how you think about it, and have a real conversation with yourself. Be like, what am I doing to make sure that this doesn't happen again? Remember that pain and learn from it, but don't let it keep coming back. So that's all I got for the vlog this week. A little bit deeper reflection. But yeah, I get it. Like, I've experienced it. If you're in pain and you've experienced it, you know what it's like. But there are people out there that can help and can give you good advice and get you in the right direction. Reach out to me, ask me questions. I'm always here to help. And I don't want people to have to suffer like I did or end up like my dad, because that shit just doesn't need to happen anymore. So learn from your pain, listen to your pain, but don't let it dictate every aspect of your being. That's all I got for this week. Have a good week, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.